Sambo, and welcome to Dawai Kudroen. Tonight I have Honorable Member of Parliament from National Council, Mr. Tashi Dorji. Mr. Tashi Dorji is the Honorable Member of National Council from Wangdue. So thank you so much for your time. First thing, now you're talking about amendment of so many acts, and one such act is the one that we just ran in the news. That's National Council Act, and other one is the Tobacco Control Act. Lots of amendment within short span of time. Now, forget about the Tobacco Control Act because we will have subsequent programs and discussions on this particular act. But when it comes to National Council Amendment Act amendment, was it really necessary? Just because of that one particular clause, you put it for amendment, and possibilities are there that people might construe it as National Council, honorable members of National Council trying to display their personal agenda and trying to fulfill that agenda, going for amendment. What do you think?
David Dawa, thank you for giving me this opportunity for your program, Dawai Kudroen. When you talk about the amendment on the National Council Act, I think the issue came up from the second round of election for the National Council.
Yes.
During the second round of election, I think the members of the National Council felt that it should be a continuous house, but the Election Commission said that there will be a misuse of power, something like that. So it should be dissolved, and if you want to recontest, then you need to resign and then recontest. So that's why the amendment is for that purpose. I think it's proposed by the legislative committee, and they introduced the amendment bill today at the National Council session. Then tomorrow we will have the deliberation on that. So I think it's very important for that amendment, because National Council is an institution which should be a continuous body. So when you say that during the second round of election, I think there was a gap of 3 months something where there was no quorum for the National Council.
Yes.
So I think it's very important to have that quorum to maintain the continuity of the House.
Yes, so apart from that clause which says National Council is a house of continuity, and to maintain that, you also need you also need not resign as a member of National Council and contest elections in future. So apart from that clause, do you foresee any other amendments on any other clause?
I think there are lots of provisions, many provisions proposed by the Legislative Committee. So today they just introduced the amendment at the session, and tomorrow we'll have the deliberation. And I think we don't see only that clause to be amended, and there are so many clauses which are new clauses which should be added to the Act, and there are so many amendments that will be done. So the deliberation will be done tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see some more amendment other than the continuities clause.
So personally, from your side, do you see any other submissions apart from the required amendment that is put up by the Legislative Committee?
Today, during the introduction part, we were given the opportunity to express our views, and I expressed my view to maintain the apolitical of the National Council House. So I informed the House of the cooling. There should be a cooling period. If you want to join a political parties to contest as a candidate from a political party, you need to resign from the National Council and have some cooling period. That was my view submitted to the House today, and hopefully there will be so many views from other members too.
But there isn't going to be enough time for cooling period as well. Now, even if you resign from National Council and to join the political party, because there's not so much of gap between the two elections.
Yes, that was only my personal view, and that was, I don't know how that my view will be taken over by the other members. But when I talk about the cooling period, I wanted to mention that if you want to join a political parties as a candidate, I think you need to have some period that, let's say, a minimum of 3 months or 1 year, something, that you need to resign from the National Council. Only then you can join as a member of any political party. That was my view that I submitted.
Yes. Okay. Another issue. Maintaining the apolitical stand of National Council. I heard Honorable Deputy Chairperson of National Council even today informing the House that the National Council should at best maintain its apolitical stand. How do you interpret this word apolitical? Some would say that even to associate and mingle with the honorable members of National Assembly would mean getting politicized. On the other hand, because you are trying to maintain a political stand, there are possibilities that you may not even look at or be vigilant on certain decisions taken by the government because you think this is a political decision, so that National Council does not need to comment on this particular issue. How do you interpret that?
Now, when you say about being to be very apolitical, I think it should be issue based. You can't say that when I talk with some, for example, a ruling candidate, I mean the ruling government's candidate, then I don't mean that the people should not treat me like affiliated to that ruling government. Or
Yes.
if I stand, what to say now? If I be with a opposition
Members of opposition.
member of opposition, and I don't mean that people should not treat me that I'm affiliated to that opposition. A political stand in the sense like in our country, like democracy is very new and it's a very unique. We have very less population, and people should understand. So every issue should be issue based. Whatever deliberation you make, whatever issue you raise, whatever views you express, it should be issue based. So when you express our issue based, people should not take it as affiliated to some political parties. That should be maintained by the people. I think that's my view.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The air of difference that we have somehow sensed within the National Council is that lots of observations and lots of segregation being done by some members of the public as well as some government officials as well, and that is this many honorable members are inclined towards opposition's views and this many members are inclined to the government or ruling party's views. Are these divisions still existing?
No, that's my personal view.
But it did exist.
It did exist in the sense like it was just a rumors. It was unknown people expressing their views through forums, any forum like Kinsa Online, or some people sharing in the public between their friends. But if they are made to prove, then there's no way they can prove that.
Yes.
So I think whenever, for example, for the ruling government, sometimes we need to, since we are a review house, we have to attack the government in some issues. Then it doesn't mean that we are affiliated to the opposition members.
Yes.
In that sense, I think that stand should not be DSN because that's only our views. It should be issue based. So people should not differentiate us whether you are affiliated to that party or this party. That should not be DSA. That's my view.
So you have had a constituency visit on a couple of occasions, and you visit the constituency before the session and after the session. What are some of the submissions that you had to listen to from your people from your constituency?
Now, in my case, it's one of the through landscape. It was one of the biggest Dzongkhag from 20 Dzongkhags. It's very difficult for me to cover the whole Dzongkhag within one of my visit. So this year, after my election, I did visit half of my constituency before this first session, then half of the constituency after the first session.
Yes.
So while issues are from different parts, so people express whatever they feel in Zomdula.
Yes.
So what we do is we note down every issues raised by the people. So we segregate. Then if the issues can be solved in the geo level, then we talk with the local government. Then if issue can be solved within the Dzongkhag level. Then after the constituency visit, we go to the Dzongkhag. Then we talk with all the sector heads and Dzongda, Dzongrap. Then we solve the issues within the Dzongkhag level. Then if the issues needs to be solved within the head office here in Thimphu, so we bring up the issues here. We then put up in the within our plenary. We discuss within our members. Then we submit it to the chairperson. Then the chairperson, through the office, they submit it to the other agencies of the government. That's how the issues are solved actually. And issue ranges from different things. Some they come in a personal level issues that need some advice or that can be solved. So issues can range from different in so many. So whatever we do, we make sure that we explain it to the people, whatever issues they are coming up.
Yes, sir. One thing that you just mentioned was that certain issues you just directly talk to the local government officials and sort it out. How forthcoming and cooperative are those local government officials? Because during the first parliament, we have had so many stories and issues that said, local government officials, there's a rift between the local government officials and some of the members of the parliament, because each one trying to see who is more powerful than the other, and each one trying to display their might, display their power. That way, bit of ego clash, as we put it in layman's term. So how cooperative and forthcoming are they?
In my case, we are very cooperative with the local government officials. Every time I discuss with the local government official, if there's any issue, they bring up the issue to me directly also. So I don't feel any ego clash in that case, in my case. But other Dzongkha, I have no ideas. But as far as possible, we maintain very close connection with the local government officials, because they are the first person to deal with for any issues. So if the issues cannot be solved within the local government, they bring up directly to us. And that should not be the difference of having an ego clash. I think that it should be done very cooperatively. Anything which can help the people, I think it should be done very in a cooperative manner.
Yes, sir. Now, people come up with lots of issues, and whenever honorable members of parliament visit your constituencies, people do believe that since you are the elected representative, as an electorate, they have the mandate to present or submit all their problems to the elected members. In that way, I've been told that some of the people do submit problems to the elected members, even the problems are coming in conflict with the law, violation of laws. Any experience you had?
Yes, some people, once they have done some illegal things or anything unlawful, they bring up the issues to us. But that cannot be solved by us. Then no one can solve that actually. So we explain to them what should be done. The law says like that, so there's nothing we can do. So it's very important for us to explain to them. And once we explain it to them, they can understand. They understand also. But once we had that election, and within that few time, we could not explain to them. After our constituency visit, we tried to explain to the people during the Wangdue time that if you do some illegal or unlawful things, there's nothing we can help. So I think that more educative part should be given, and people will understand in nearby, and they are compared to the past month. Now we are receiving very less number of complaints or requests, individual issues.
Yes, sir. Do people come all the way from Wangdue to see you for some problems to be solved? Yes. Or they just call you up?
Some they call, but some they come over here to bring their issues. But we be very, now we're very open. In my case, I'm very open, and I try to inform them. They can call me anytime if they have any issues that needs my help. But I try my best to help them. Even if they come to my office, I am very open enough to look up to their issues.
So more and more number of calls that you receive, more and more people coming to see you for seeking help. Any regrets that people coming to you seeking help, calling you even during odd hours? Sometimes this can be seen as an inevitable burden that you're going through.
I think everyone, once we participate in this election, or once you participate to be a public figure, I think you need to be ready for such issues that might bring up from the public side, and we should not regret, or we should not hesitate to listen to any issues brought up by people. I think if something can be done, I think we have to work hard to solve any problems that people are having.
Yes.
Provided it's as per the law.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, so one issue that, in fact, towards the end of our Dzongkha session, we did touch on this, and that's on your entitlement part. You mentioned that the honorable members of National Council did not have any discussions or deliberations on your entitlement. But lots of things being said, lot of things being written online, especially in Council Online Forum, about the National Council, about the members of Parliament talking about your entitlement once you're elected to the office. How do you take those feedbacks and write-ups online? Lots of things said, and I'm sure you must have read it.
Yes, I went through some of the comments on the forums also. I think the issue came up first from the news, which was titled "The Money Can't Buy Cars." I think then the people writing so many comments on Council Forum. I saw some of the comments. I think when you talk about the entitlement, we never talked within our house. It was the media people who brought up those issues in the council, and people started blaming the member of parliament that member MPs are now bringing up the entitlement. They are talking about the benefits. I think we didn't talk too much on that, but
you did talk.
I mean, as per the Parliamentary Entitlement Act, we are eligible for a lump sum amount with the tax-free, import tax-free from the government side. But since our economy is in not very good shape, and we decided in the sense I decided, and no one brought up the issues in the House for that. I think still member of parliaments are sacrificing their benefits, and people should appreciate, not instead of commenting so many bad things about the member of parliaments on the council forums.
Yes, sir. So you mean to say that honorable members of parliament have been made scapegoat by the media?
If you go through the council forums, everything, I think the member of parliaments are made that. I mean, we are blamed for that member of parliaments are again bringing up the talks on their benefits, but we never did, and the people should appreciate that actually.
Yes, yes. Now, one issue that I would like to bring up is just yesterday we had a discussion on Google Apps, and Google Apps as a decision made by the government, and for that Druknyamrup Sokpa had serious reservations, saying that going for Google Apps would mean compromising our data sovereignty, compromising our security. The issue is still debatable, but the appeal that Druknyamrup Sokpa made was opposition and the National Council should have come up with independent studies and made some comments on this, because this is concerning national security. Give rest of the issues aside, the appeal made by Nyamrup is that National Council should also do something. Have you had any discussion on this, or honorable members of National Council are not even aware of what Google Apps is all about, and that you did not subsequently work on it?
We were quite busy with this session still going on, so I think we didn't get enough time to discuss on that. On my individual view, I'm a fan of Google. For myself, during my previous job also, I use all those Google stuffs like Google Docs, Google. But if you take in the government using the Google application, I think still we need to debate. And I'm sure the National Council within our house we will have the debate on that. But because of the session still going on, we didn't get enough time to discuss on that.
Yes, sir.
If that really concerns the security of the country, then for sure the National Council will discuss on that using that Google apps by the government.
But what if the discussion is be too late and that decision is already taken?
I think it's not still late for the government because if you talk about the security through IT, I think we are not prepared for anything. Even if you don't use the Google, if someone wants to hack our system, then I think it's very easy for other people to do that. I think so. We still have some time to discuss on that, and it should be thought for the longer run, not for the short term of the country's thing.
Yes, yes. Keeping this issue of Google Apps, and maybe some other issues that might crop up in future, the stand that National Council makes on certain issues or certain decisions taken by the government. For now, we as an observer, we would like to believe and see that honorable members of the National Council are also under lots of pressure, because even to comment on certain issues, because the decisions are political in nature, people directly associate you with either party, and because of that factor, somehow reservation is automatically going to set into the minds of honorable members. So that can be a serious challenge.
What you have to understand is nation's interest should be in the front. So if there's anything government is bringing up which needs the attention of the National Council, if it is affecting the interest of the nation, then for sure we will talk on any issues brought up by the government. But other than that, we can't attack to each and every issues of the government, because it's not exactly the responsibility of the National Council to attack every policies, issues of the government. But keeping aside, then if there's issues which concerns the nation, for example, we have the question hour section where ministers come to our house for so today in the case, today we have called up the finance minister and the labor minister, and we had lots of questions for them. So if the interest of the nation, if it is on the interest of the nation, for sure we'll talk on that. Other than that, to attack on every issues, that I don't think it's the responsibility of the National Council. No message.
So what about the coordination within the House? Honorable members, 25 honorable members of parliament, each one would have different views on a particular issue, but then ultimately consensus is what is more important. In a democratic setup, you go for majority, that's the case. But keeping that aside, general coordination and agreement within the House, not just for a particular issue, but even as an individual, how do you see that?
I find the working condition, everything is very cooperative within our house. We coordinate with each other, and for every issues, you can't take up the individual issues to be right. We have to discuss in the house. We have to, even if it's not discussed in the session, it will be discussed in the plenary, and majority consensus should be there, because you can't say that if I bring up some issues, I'm not 100% sure that my issues is right. So we have to get the views of other members to make sure that issue is properly discussed.
Yes, sir. So any heated discussions after the plenary, because sometimes it would happen that you come up with an issue that you think it's very important and apt for the people of your constituency, and your people actually want you to put up this issue. But again, some other members would not actually agree with the proposal that you come up with. So in cases like this, the debate and arguments within?
individual, they bring up lots of issues in the house, and we discuss, and we can't say that if I bring issue from Wangdue that everyone should listen. I think it's for the whole country, and we have to take the national importance first. So we cannot segregate on individual issues. So consensus should be there, and there will be some heated debate, but at the at the conclusion, the issues which are very important for the country, which is good for the country, should be decided.
Okay. Final question, sir. Now, the House is in session right now. Any interesting, of course, you will be discussing only important things, and even in the previous Parliament, honourable members, some of the honourable members of Parliament then told me that we have been discussing some important issues in the House, and our submission was that as a House or as a member of Parliament, you are only required to discuss lots of important things. Everything seemed to be important, but anything interesting or anything that would spark lots of debates, not just within the House, but even outside, that you foresee during this session? Any particular agenda?
I think to the amendment of the two acts will be very interesting. And there will be Tobacco Control Act and the National Council Act, because people are saying when we amend the National Council Act, some people are having the views that we are putting our interests in front of that for all the amendments. But there will be deliberation tomorrow, starting from tomorrow, and the next day we are having discussion on the Tobacco Control Act, which there will be more interesting debate, because the debate goes from the public side. It goes on the issue of non-smokers and smokers, so that I'm sure that will be very interesting. That's my view.
So, Honourable Member of Parliament from National Council, Mr. Tashi Dorji, thank you so much for your time. With this, we come to the end of our program. Our submission is that, our humble wish rather, is that we'd like to have Honourable Members of Parliament here, and discussing issues and some sharing some opinions, so that some sort of evaluation can be done by our viewers and people of their own constituencies. Thank you so much for watching Dawai Kudroen. It's time to say good night and Tashi Dorji.